So just get the chat stuff up on the thing properly. Right, that should all be set up and running. I'm just going to do the chat on the actual screen here, so it's a better size for everyone. But yeah, so just thought I'd do a video on today rather than talking about playing games. We can talk about whatever really. But yeah, sort of like I said, sort of see if we can find interesting stuff to talk about. Obviously, there's loads of developments of Iran and everything. Also in the UK, Keir Starmer has decided that the Union flag or whatever, or the Union Jack or the English flag, all right, Rich, this is on my video that's coming up tomorrow, is a symbol of hate, sorry, a tool of hate. That's in their own government documents that have been released, apparently. So, get it back out. Here's my tool of hate. Personally, I think the toolmaker's son is a tool of hate, but yeah. So there we go. Tool of hate. Tool of hate, as Kia calls it. Tool of hate sort of sounds like a good band name, actually. The Tools of Hate. But yeah, so Keir Stalin has basically said, because they had some Labour sort of internal document that got leaked. So again, assuming that the press are telling the truth about it, because obviously you and me can't read it because it got leaked to several newspapers, in that they said about how the the English and the Union flag is a tool of hate when it's used to scare people, because apparently the English flag is for scaring people. Shame on you. No, I don't think so. But like I said, so I will still happily have my flag. Because somebody was making a good point. I think it was Asmongold on one of his videos was saying that there's the funny thing with like the UK and everything is that they're pro the flag and everything when it's invading other countries, but when it's for their own people to be nationalists, they suddenly hate it. And thought, yeah, that's a very interesting point, isn't it? Why is that the case? That they like rallying everyone around the flag when it's something that benefits the government. But as soon as it's, us normal people doing something to the flag, oh, that's a tool of hate, right-wing fuckery, tool of hate. So, yeah, I thought that was just quite interesting. So, yeah, I will be looking at the chat properly in a second. But like I said, this is just one of those streams to chat about whatever. There's not really a theme to this one. Is he all right, Boss Freak? Yeah, I mean, maybe he's used certain tools. I don't know. I might get in trouble if I say what sort of tools I think he's used. Oh, bad dragon. That looks like a sort of tool for Sakia. But yeah, I doubt he's done a hard day's work in his life. Exactly, Rich, if that's what you mean. But yeah, so tool of hate. Yeah, let's call the band name Tool of Hate, and we'll call the hit single Right Wing Fuggery. There we go. But yeah, so again, Ross Freak depends on the neighbors, basically. That's all I can really say about that. So apparently 400 people have been killed in Israeli strikes in Lebanon, because Lebanon's been pulled into this now, haven't they? The really big Iranian oil sort of massive oil refinery in Iran's been blown up. Looks a bit like Kuwait. The flags are normally made in China, not Pakistan. In theory, probably Khomeini, he was the Ayatollah, wasn't he? Raja Pahlavi, or whatever he's called, the Shah's son. I think the idea is, and again, I don't know because I'm not Trump, and maybe he just wants to do something really retarded. I think the idea is that they'd have the Shah's son be an interim leader, and then once he's sort of established the country again, they'd have elections, but you wouldn't let Islamists run in the elections, for example. You could only have the America-approved parties probably running in it. And person with a really long name said, hi, hello. I'll call you YHH. But yeah, like I said, it's just one of those sort of really stupid things where, like I said, again, like I said before, I hope the regime collapses, because the regime in Iran is genuinely fucking evil. Like, you know, it's one of those regimes that kills so many of its own people regardless, as well as spreading terrorism around the world. But yes, I agree with you. They need to have a good thing put in place afterwards, rather than letting the country just turn into some sort of, you know, Syria-style civil war zone type thing, yeah. But again, we'll have to wait and see, because we're not really involved in it, as Keir Starmer keeps liking to say. We had no involvement in Iran. We had no involvement in the Iran strikes. I'd just like to remind everybody, we were not involved in any way whatsoever. We were not involved. So, you know, Keir Starmer's sort of doing that. But yeah, like I said, sort of feel bad for all the people getting bombed, but at the end of the day, like I said, Iran's murdered so many of its own people over the last couple of months anyway, that you might actually be safer even if you're having bombs raining down on you than when the regime's terror troops are going around shooting people for daring to question the Ayatollah. So, but again, like I said, it's that sort of shitty thing where I don't even know if there's a right answer with Iran. Like I've said, it's one of those things where I can't think of an easy, good way out of it. Oh, something that is completely unrelated to Iran, but I'll bring it up now. And don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because it does help YouTube share them a bit. There's a really good, like, total conversion TIE Fighter mod thing. So, you know the old game TIE Fighter, for some of you that are really old, there was X-Wing and then there was TIE Fighter. The Star Wars games from the 1990s that you were like, they were like kind of flight space sim sort of games. There's a total conversion mod for another one of the games. Let me check what one it was called, because I had to actually buy this cheap old game to be able to. So Star Wars X-Wing Alliance is like some really old one that was a bit newer, and there's a total conversion for X-Wing Alliance that makes it be TIE Fighter but with really good graphics. Yeah, so I was actually really enjoying TIE Fighter earlier, but I've had to order a new, and again, can't really afford it, but I've had to order it, joystick, because I have no idea where my Logitech Attack 3 is, and it's quite old now and, you know, not great anyway. And obviously, you can kind of play it on the controller, but a proper joystick is way better for, you know, playing that sort of thing. So yeah, I've got a Thrustmaster joystick coming. It's what, like their £50 sort of model one, because I don't play enough flight simulators to spend the silly money on joysticks. You know, where some people have the like £500 ones with all the various things to make it look like a real cockpit. I'm not going to do that. But Battlefront 2 was great, yeah, and Battlefront 3 got cancelled. That was being made by Free Radical, who made the Time Splitters games, and then EA cancelled it last minute. So again, crimes against humanity. But yeah, the TIE Fighter one is really, really good, because like I said, it's basically a total conversion mod for another old Star Wars game, but makes it look modern. Although I can't share it to this screen, what I'll do is I'll just load it up now so you can see what the graphics sort of look like. So yeah, again, this is very, very crap way of sharing a screen. Like I said, it's just I'm doing this kind of stream. So they've redone that sort of actual interface like that. So obviously they've made all this look way better than the old like little DOS graphics. But let's just start a mission. Because again, I'm not going to properly play this right now. I'm just going to show you Surrounded. Yeah, again, I need to play some of that, but it's the current zombie game all my mates are playing is that other one, Vane. So yeah, you've got all your really nice cockpit, and let's launch it. And like I said, I'm not going to actually play this on stream. Well, I might on a different day when I get the joystick, but oh, I've not got the controller plugged in. Shit. Yeah, I can't steer. Oh no. But yeah, there you go. I forgot to plug my controller in, didn't I? But there you go. That's what it looks like anyway. So yeah, like I said, a really, really good total conversion sort of mod. So like I said, that was really impressive, and it's completely free if you have the old Star Wars game. It's a total conversion of. And again, it's not TIE Fighter, it's Star Wars X-Wing Alliance, which I'm just going to look up its release date now. So X-Wing Alliance is from 1999. So again, it's from a 1999, a mod for a 1999 game. So yeah, it's because this is like a total conversion mod that's based on the HD mod for that. So yeah, again, just to show you, just because it's kind of interesting. So the old graphics in it used to look like this, and then yeah, the people that did this mod to make it look like that have done the TIE Fighter one. And again, I like playing as the Empire, so not the Rebel scum. So yeah, again, that TIE Fighter thing, I'll stream some of that tomorrow, assuming that the joystick comes at a sensible time and I get it all set up properly. Yeah, like you're saying, yeah, they have the Imperial alphabet or whatever it is in it. Yeah, the like non-English alphabet thing for the cutscenes and that. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, that is stupidly good. The that thing, and it's free. Orbesh is it called, or Orabesh or whatever. But yeah, like I said, so yeah, I just bought the version of X-Wing Alliance that was on Steam to play it. Because I already had TIE Fighter on Steam anyway. So it's not X-Wing Special Edition. It's yeah, X-Wing Alliance, the one you actually need. Apparently it's on GOG as well. It might be cheaper on GOG. I'll just have a quick look. Good old games, X-Wing Alliance. I know it's $8.50 on GOG as well, so that's probably the price LucasArts sets for it. But the Steam version works absolutely fine. And it's 34 quid for X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and X-Wing Alliance. The first 3 of those games I all had on like one DVD-ROM back when I had my really old XP. Because they did like, one of those things you could buy in game where it was in a DVD case with all 3 games on one disc. I hadn't actually played X-Wing Alliance before. Like I said, X-Wing Alliance is the one you need for that mod anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at what else is going on. Starmer and Trump speak for first time since Iran row. You're a little pussy, Starmer. You're a little pussy. Oh, I think you're orange. And oh no. So yeah. Rivers of fire in Tehran after oil depot blows up. Oh yeah, that video is just fucking insane of all of the yeah, fire everywhere from the Shahran or something oil depot. Like I said, it looks like Kuwait during the Gulf War. So Psychonaut says, are there any alternatives to banana or no salt from Oslo? They're the 2 that I would use. There's one called bitters as well, but I'll have to look up. So obviously this is banana oil. Because again, that's a strong smell, but it's not an unpleasant smell. But you can just smell it easily. The other one, yeah, I think he means the proper stuff that's normally used in those sort of tests. Let me search gas mask test bitters. I think they're called bitters. I can't remember what they're actually called. 3M bitter test solution, which is typically dinotium benzenate or Bitrex, are used in qualitative fit testing. Yeah. So Yeah, so you can either get the banana oil one, which is the pleasant one. Again, I don't know what the bitter one smells like because I've never tried it. But 3M charge £23 for a tiny bottle, so I bet if you look up the chemical, you can probably buy it cheaper. You've got an option, haven't you? Can shave your beard off, which is probably the option you don't want. Maybe get a head wound mask, or get a PAPR set up that's strong enough to work with a beard. So again, a PAPR might work with a beard if you get one that's strong enough. But yeah, so let me just look up the name of the chemical again. And detonium benzonate, and I'm just going to look and see if you can buy that as its own thing, and then how much it costs. Yeah, they're still all around 30 quid though. Apparently that stuff is put in cat anti-chewing spray as well. It's actually as well the stuff they used to put in the thumb sucking thing. Stops nail biting and thumb sucking. I remember my mum used to do that when I was a kid. Put this like chemical on your hand, and it like tastes horrible. So basically, if you put your finger near your mouth, you immediately regret it. Yeah, can also be used to prevent thumb or finger sucking. But yeah, so in theory, it's just literally this stuff they use for the beta testing, and it's the same chemical compound. All right, Mr. Danny Boy. But yeah, so but yeah, your options are, like I said, you can get, you know, the bitters or the sweet ones, and again, they both work the same way. I think it's in case people can't do one or the other. But like I said, ammonia is actually my favorite one, because you will fucking know if you get a reaction from it. Like, you know, if you get a smelling salt reaction, you don't need a good sense of smell for it to work, because it works on my dad, even though he can't taste or smell anything. But yeah, like I said, you've got about 3 options. But like I said, the point is that, you know, you don't really need other options other than those two, because you can get those two pretty much anywhere in the world. Yeah, again, tear gas, though, you can't legally get as a civilian in a lot of places. A coin used as bus fare was 2,000-year-old currency. So apparently a coin from the 1st century BC, so, you know, like as in year minus 100 or whatever, because before Christ, if you're going off of Anno Domini. And yeah, somebody used it to pay a bus fare, despite the fact it was a 2,000-year-old. Oh, and it was used in Leeds as well. That's funny. So yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting. Well, are you in America though, Wasp Freak? Because again, if you're in America, like I said, that's completely different than most other countries in the world. But yeah, I suppose you could pepper spray yourself in the face as well if you're in America. But like I said, that's a bit of an extreme way of doing it. Just get banana oil, like I said, smelling salts, and you go around the mask with them. And then obviously, if there's a leak, you will know about it. Vampire. What about a vampire psychonaut? You're saying it was a vampire using the coin. But yeah, the only thing with this one is I wish they hadn't put that like easy dropper bottle lid on there. There might be a way of taking that off, but oh yeah, good, there is. Yeah, it's way stronger now. Yeah. Right, so I'm gonna just put that somewhere, because again, like I said, I didn't want that sort of stupid lid on it. I wanted the proper lid. Yeah, so that's better now. But again, this is a way cheaper way of it, buying like some fragrance sort of thing way of doing it rather than buying the proper stuff. I can see that one, Joshua. No previous messages you said if you said any turned up. Only that one. So yeah, yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everyone. Let's see what else is going on. But like I said, most of it is just Iran and Israel and the US at the moment. But yeah, so what was I going to say? Just sort of stuff, I guess, in general about whatever, if people want to bring it up. But yeah, sort of, I was going to say the TIE Fighter conversion mod is excellent. Like I said, when I've got a joystick, I'll probably stream some of that. But as it is with a PlayStation controller, the problem with doing it with a controller, although the controller works properly with it, is that because it's a game that sort of had a load of keybinds done originally to the keyboard, I think it's designed that you have your joystick in your right hand and you tap the keyboard with your left hand to do the other controls. With a controller like this, it's really awkward to try and use a controller like this one-handed while tapping a keyboard. So, like I said, you can play it with this, but it's a pain in the ass when you want to switch targets, because you have to kind of reach over, press T, you know, while keeping one hand on the controller or whatever. Interviewed about. When you say interview, do you mean a review? Interview means talking to somebody and like asking them questions. So I don't think if you interviewed a gas mask, I don't think it would say anything. But if you mean reviewing, again, if I haven't done reviews on them, it's because I don't own them. And I don't really have the money to buy loads of masks that I don't already have to do videos on that a lot of people don't bother watching as well. Because again, this is the problem. A lot of the time when people on YouTube ask me to get something to review it, sometimes those people never even comment on the video after I do it. So I then think that was a bit of a waste of money. But yeah, so, because like I said, in the next few days, literally starting in about 3 days' time, I'm going to start selling off a load of my stuff. But like I said, annoyingly, because there's not many good platforms for selling the stuff, I can't really say on here where I'm going to sell it, because of the fact that, you know, it might mean then people buy stuff just to fuck with me. Is this the one, Rob, about the virus with the 100% mortality rate that's being made in the lab with what could possibly go wrong? If so, yes, I have seen that. And, you know, the 2020s are shit. So, you know, if we aren't wiped out by a man-made chimera virus by 2030, I think we could count ourselves lucky. But yes, essentially, yeah, they're making a chimera virus, as in, you know, where you'd make the most lethal virus possible. And yeah, great. What could possibly go wrong? It's not like we've had lab leaks in the past, is it? Yeah. We need to experiment on this 100% man-made virus just in case it got loose, so we know how to make a vaccine for it, even though it wouldn't exist if we hadn't have made it. Which does make me think it's just bioweapons research, you know. Let's make this and try and make a vaccine for it, and whether it be a vaccine or a cure for it, we unleash it on the world. That's what the conspiracy part of me says, because that's what happens in a lot of you know, media when there's a thing like Deus Ex where Bob Page's company both made the Grey Death and sells the vaccines for it, or whatever else it was, or like the treatment for it, ambrosia vaccines. And again, that's a bit like the plot in V for Vendetta, isn't it, with the St. Mary's virus. I haven't seen a load of the Mission Impossibles in years, but yeah, that's like a common thing in the media thing where the same people make the virus that make the cure for it to profit or have political power because they're the only ones with the cure. And yeah, so apparently that's going on at the moment. So that's just another thing to make you sleep well. With the COVID one, again, we still don't know if it was a lab leak or if it was with you know, like wet markets and stuff like that. There's still arguments about it, and it's not been proved either way. And again, I have to say stuff like that because YouTube's given me a strike before for medical misinformation when I was talking about stuff that was completely factually accurate, but whoever they got to check my video didn't know how to understand English very well or whatever, and then they gave me a strike. So I do have to be very careful when talking about this stuff, because YouTube got very trigger happy at one point about medical misinformation. But yeah, with COVID, we still don't know. Genuinely, we don't know if it was a lab leak or if it was, just from like a wet market or whatever. Because again, communist China isn't exactly going to be truthful about how it got out, are they, if it came out from a lab leak? Was that just a copyright strike though, Wasp? But because copyright strikes are different from the strikes which are like YouTube giving you like 3 strikes in your out thing for like hate speech or whatever, or medical misinformation and whatever. Yeah, again though, Rob, if somebody still reports the video and the wrong person looks at it, you're still getting a strike or whatever. So you can actually fight the appeal on that, Wasp, because if it's not a live song, you'd actually be able to fight the appeal and potentially win on that. But a lot of things like that are flagged up because the fact they know people won't fight the copyright, and then they can make money off your video. That's why they're really scummy with all the copyright kind of pattern trolling type things. Which is why I try and just like never use copyrighted music if I can avoid it, or anything close to it. Because again, I've had some videos I've taken down and put different music on because I've had like a false thing, where it says you're using this bit of music when I'm not. So then I'm like, fuck you, then I'm going to use a completely different track that sounds nothing like this. And again, I've had one where somebody was claiming the copyright for it that wasn't even the owner of the song anyway. So, because again, I wouldn't mind if it was the proper owner of the copyright if you use something copyrighted, but when it's like some dickhead that's trying to copyright other people's stuff to make money off of it. Erica for a Mauser video. Again, yeah, Erica predates Moustache Man's Germany though, but again, the problem is that good luck explaining all these things, even if you're in the right, to some of the, like people and bots that look over video strikes, because that's the problem. You can be totally in the right and still end up, getting fuck all justice for it, if you like, because, the game was rigged from the start. I did see that the guy who does all the AI videos, who did one called the Hiles Hate to Say I Told You show, based on the Hives one, that got put back up. So the guy won the appeal on that. Yapping about at the moment. You are late. You're about 28 minutes late. At the moment, YouTube strikes and things like that, like copyright strikes for hate speech and that sort of things. But we were also on about Keir Starmer earlier. Keir Starmer. And what else have we covered? Oh yeah, the TIE fighter mod that's really good. Iran. Right-wing fuggery. I've got a video on this tomorrow. So for the people that didn't see at the start of this thing, this is a tool of hate, according to the British government now, in a leaked report. This is my tool of hate. Tools of hate. Tools of hate. Like I said, a good name for a band, Tools of Hate. Yeah, I think you might need a bit more than that, Oliver, but I might get arrested by the stormtroopers. Yeah, both the British flag and the English flag, and I think the Scottish one as well, the St. Andrew's cross. I think all of those are tools of hate now, apparently. I don't know if they included the Welsh flag in it. Let's have a look. Flag tools of hate. Right, let me read into the article, because again, there's different, again, because the official government document that's been leaked to a lot of the media that was reported on it, because they haven't personally, haven't given it to us plebs, I can't look for myself to tell you if this is 100% genuinely true. But let's have a look. So it was in the government's community cohesion strategy, titled Protecting What Matters. Again, dystopian thing. Protecting what matters by destroying your right to your country. Again, Reform have said it's all bollocks, and a load of other politicians have said, what the fuck are Labour doing? But I'm just reading if they mention all the flags it comes under. Oh, and their excuse is, oh, you just saw an early draft that was leaked. This isn't our finished thing. Also, divisive content online. So, yeah, they're going to take more people down for speaking the truth online, because it's dangerous to be right if the government's wrong, you know, or it's dangerous to tell the truth if the government's telling lies, isn't it? So, yeah, they're doing even more counter-extremism stuff, which generally means just arresting people that aren't terrorists, because the terrorists still carry out the attacks. But yeah, this one doesn't mention about the Welsh flag, but I am going to just search flag tools of hate Wales, see if the Wales one is named in it. No, so it's flying the English, Scottish, and Union flags is dubbed tools of hate, but not the Welsh one. The Welsh have got off, so the Welsh can have their dragon flag. You can be a Welsh nationalist, apparently. Boy, oh, I'm going to kill you. You can do that, but you can't have the English flag. What do you mean? Who's that epic Thanos? What, Starmer or who or what? I don't know what you're on about. Well, apparently they're really shit at stopping phones and drugs getting into prison. So I guess if I do get arrested, I probably can live stream from prison. Yeah. Also shag the prison guards, because that's a common thing as well, isn't it? That the prisoners, the prison guards always like getting shagged by the prisoners, and that's like a thing they've arrested loads for now. It's a bit like you know, the female teacher's nice meme. It just keeps happening. So it just keeps happening. UK's national animal. Well, it's a lion on the English flag, like the old one, because of like Richard the Lionheart and stuff like that. But so probably a lion. But yeah, like I said, Tools of Hate sounds like it should be a band, and like they could have songs like Right Wing Fuggery and whatever else. I might in Son Auto, which is a bit like an Udio thing, do a song called Tools of Hate, Right Wing Fuggery by the Starmers or something, and see how it comes out. And then if it's not too extreme, I'll upload it to YouTube. And again, I might get a copyright strike even if it's AI music. But oh, thank you very much. I don't know how the gift memberships work, but thank you very much. So just did everybody in the chat get a gifted membership? That's very nice of you. Thank you. Although again, some of the people in the gift, or did you choose who you gift membership to? But thank you. That's very nice. I appreciate that. I don't know. Somebody did the gifted membership thing, and I don't know exactly knows how it works. You know, because again, it's a load of people because they instantly got it. I assume he could pick who he wanted to gift them to. Because again, I know it's a thing that people can do on Twitch and that as well, gifted memberships. But I don't know. Yeah, Starmer's Stalls of Hate. Yeah. Apparently you didn't anomaly glitch. Like I said, you can see the person they gifted them to. So Wallius Jade M6WZ, so thank you to the person who did that. They gave 1 to Xenon Fox, 1 to Willie the Four, 1 to Ichigo Dracula, 1 to Seedless Grape, 1 to Radish Radiator. Oh, sorry, Radish Radiator, 1 to Blackstar East, 1 to Filteram 4732, 1 to MX Hellfield, 1 to Eat Rick, 1 to Klaus, 1 to Pipsqueak 94, 1 to Da Baby Car or something, 1 to Town Pavu 321, 1 to Drew Manol, 1 to The Witness, 1 to Northampton W90, and Transport Couple, and Yeet Reet 2453, and 1 to Tritium 334. Tritium, I know what Tritium is. But yeah, so thank you to that person, but I don't understand how that system works. So you know, it's not a thing like I'm assuming how it works is essentially that you can pick people and then give them a membership. So I'm assuming it essentially means that I get the membership revenue, but it's rather than just donating outright, people can donate via a membership. I'm actually going to Google it now because I'm kind of curious. YouTube mass membership donation. So YouTube membership gifting allows users to purchase multiple channel memberships at once during a live stream or premiere, which are then distributed to other viewers. This feature's often used for mass donations, e.g. 50 to 100 gifts, supports creators while giving viewers 1 month of access to perks like custom emojis and badges. So yeah, it's a thing they've added in on YouTube, but again, I don't know how they pick, I don't know how they think. Apparently there's things you have to do to be eligible yourself as well. So again, I don't know. So thank you to the person who did that, because apparently it supports my channel. But yeah, I don't exactly know how the system works. I think it's one of those things YouTube has introduced at some point. And you know, so but yeah, I guess it's either he chose them or you can register to be interested in receiving it. I guess it's like that. So I think that way it just probably doesn't give them to random people on the stream who might not even want to be watching the thing. Oh, it didn't let you pick. Well, thank you anyway. But yeah, so I don't quite know how it works because yeah. But thank you anyway. I really do appreciate that if it does support the channel, because like I said, at the moment, this is the only thing I'm doing for income. Speaking of that, I was saying that to somebody I used to work with, that because I saw him today after work, came round after he like left the job I used to do and said hello and played with some of the guns for a bit. I still need to get my P45 or P60, whatever it is, from my old company, because they never fucking sent it me. And you're technically meant to get that when you leave a job. So, you know, for like insurance stuff and all that. And yeah, it turns out my employer didn't send me it. And there's enough times past now that they should have sent it me. So I'm going to have to now go chasing up whoever I have to chase up, saying, where are my like work documents when I left the job, kind of thing. Because regardless of if you got fired, if you quit, you know, got made redundant, all those, you're meant to be given these. You can chat about Russia as long as it doesn't turn into be too toxic and whatever. Because like I said, in the Russian-Ukraine war, I totally support Ukraine. But I don't hate Russian people in general, because I kind of get the problem on here where like some people don't like me because I'm saying I don't think actual Russians are all that bad, even if I don't like Putin's government and everything. But then you also get people who are like, oh no, how can you not fully support Russia and Putin? He's based in trad. Unlike our Western leaders, you know, so it's one of the things where you can talk about it, but yeah, well, gas prices have gotten a lot worse since the Iran war started, haven't they? And the UK is down to its last 2 days of gas, as in not gasoline, but natural gas, you know, like for burning, that kind of gas. Because we don't get it out the North Sea anymore, despite having really, really fucking big reserves of it that could make us a very wealthy country. Because, oh, that's not green and eco-friendly, can't have that. So, yeah, it's... yes, again, I keep saying this, but people keep burn milsip to stay warm. I bet the fumes won't be great. Maybe I can burn some radioactive waste to keep warm and accidentally make a dirty bomb. You just bought a GP5. Cool. Oh, another interesting thing. Since I did the video on these, I think like 40-something people have bought these from the AliExpress link, which doesn't give me much. It's giving me like $4, because I think I get maybe 10 cents per mask. But again, that is quite good. Just going to put the thing on, not that you'll be able to hear me very well. But
But yeah, this mask I do genuinely quite like, because again, it's just a Chinese TF1 in red. But you know, it is what it is. Big suck, out like that. Again, that's only because I'm covering the that up. If I just do that anyway, it doesn't suck too much. If I do that, and I do it in plate. Hopefully they'll do the rest of the Power Rangers colours, yeah. But like I said,
at the moment you can get white and black TF1s, and now they do red TF1s. So yeah, maybe they'll do green and yellow and other colours. But yeah, I just like the fact China is making these masks in bright red now. Just because, again, why wouldn't you make, if you have the factories to make the masks, why wouldn't you go, shall we make a bright coloured one? Because it just stands out, doesn't it, that way? Because again, I'm trying to think if there's any other gas masks I can think of that are red, other than maybe the British civilian Mickey Mouse masks, you know, the children's one from World War II. They were sometimes red. I'm sure there was probably some industrial masks that are red or orange. There's the Spaziani I was on about the other day. That's blue, though. But again, that's still a nice colour because it's blue. Oh, yeah, I can see what you mean by the smell if Rich is still on. The Spaziani does have a nice smell. Or was that Mike that said that? Weapon collector. But you're right, this does actually have quite a nice smell. Again, it's just a nice plastic odour this has, like a pleasant plastic odour, not an unpleasant plastic odour. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy the streams. Like I said, I enjoy doing the streams as well, because as long as they're not ones where they turn into a dumpster fire where everybody starts arguing over stuff. I've got an IP4M and then I've got an IP5, but that's it. The IP4M is actually genuinely a really good rebreather. Not that I've actually used it, because, you know, you don't use rebreathers for a laugh because of how they work and that. Stuff can go horribly wrong. But the IP4M, compared to most Soviet masks, it's got good straps on it. It's got an oral nasal cup and a voice diaphragm. Tools of hate. Chippy comparison. What, a comparison between different fish and chips shops, do you mean? Sadly, a lot of fish and chips shops have closed where I am. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not many chippies left where I am, or actually proper chippies. Like that, because again, like the problem is, like, fish and chip shops again used to be like the most common takeaways in the UK. Then it got to the stage, you know, where often it would be like a split between those like Indians and Chinese takeaways. But now, yeah, there's not many chippies near me, and a lot of the chippies are like other things first and foremost that do mediocre fish and chips as like an extra thing. I'm afraid I do not have a GM30, Dread Soldier. I have a GM38, which is not handy to show you. And I have the VM37, the VM40, and the VM44, none of which are available to currently show. Paintings? I don't do paintings. I am not the Austrian painter. That's good, Caesar, if your one still does good business. You know, chippy like fish and chips. So yeah, it's just like, again, like, you know, a type of food, fish and chips. So again, sadly for me, the best fish and chips near me still are still just random restaurants that, you know, do fish and chips as a thing. But yeah, sadly, the really good fish and chip shop that used to be in a nearby town, although there's a fish and chip shop there now, it's completely different owners and the food's nowhere near as good, because I think it's kind of like kebabs, other food, and fish and chips just as an extra thing they do, you know, and it's kind of that sort of soggy style fish and chips. What I mean is, it's like, because doing the batter correctly on fish and chips is quite hard to do. So it's one of those things where, yeah, it's you know, a not great, not terrible one. I'd happily eat it, but it wouldn't be what I consider good fish and chips. The beef eater near us does all right fish and chips. When I was in Leeds, the fish and chips are good in the Weatherspoons, the Golden Beam. But yeah, sadly, there's not that many actual, like, proper, just dedicated fish and chip shops left. Oh yeah, I've heard about the nonces on Roblox. Is that some fast food place in America, Osprey, or a restaurant chain in there? Again, fish and chips is nice, but again, it has to be done properly to be the proper thing. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it's the most British food ever and whatever. But yeah, it's worth trying if you've not tried it, if you're in another country and you can get ones that aren't shit to you. Because again, it's like, you know, the difference between a cheap ass burger and a really, really good burger. But yeah, so yeah, you Epic Thanos saying about Roblox. I have seen the Asmongold stuff about all of the nonces hanging out on Roblox, making very, very strange games and using it to try and groom their children. At least in fish and chips, there's, I don't know about sugar, but there's not any milk in fish and chips. Like, at most, you might have some sort of dairy products used as a tiny percent in the batter. But regular chips are just literally, you know, potatoes chopped into blocks and fried, normally fried. And the batter on the cod or whatever fish you use for the fish and chips, that is normally kind of like, more like pancake kind of batter. It's not pancake batter, but, you know, you mix up a similar kind of batter to make it, if you made it yourself. It's, you know, kind of a breadcrumby sort of, and again, the people that don't like mushy peas, I don't know why they don't like mushy peas, but yeah, so, but like we were saying about Roblox, yeah, I've never played Roblox, weirdly, because I'm a bit too old for that. But I have heard about all the problems Roblox had, and I've seen the Asmongold video where he finds the really fucking weird, creepy games on there. You click live, press the live button, and then it's only a few seconds behind. Right, Roblox is, I guess, like Zoomer Kids, Zoomer and Gen Alpha's version of Gary's Mod. So rather than being a thing for Source, it's like a thing where people can make their own games, and they kind of look like knockoff Minecraft things. But the problem is it went from just being little kids making genuine games for other little kids to being infested with, you know, kiddie diddlers who are using it to try and find kids to exploit. Right, Rajiv? I have seen there's quite an interesting looking Boxer Rebellion game, you know, like 55 Days at Peking. And I think it even had the 55 Days at Peking theme on it. So you could play as your little US Marine or British Redcoat shooting Chinaman. You know, so again, I don't want YouTube to give me a hate speech strike for that, but that's what the Boxer Rebellion was. So, you know, somebody had made a Roblox game where you could do that. Yeah, in Stalker has no multiplayer, so they are only going to get abused by a bloodsucker, or maybe Sidrovich in the bunker. If you can't have cheese, milk, yogurt, and ice cream, you should be all right with fish and chips. Like I said, fish and chips, you can get, you know, like I said, it's not like a dairy type food. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, the Stalker games do have multiplayer, but nobody fucking plays them. Or they're full of hackers. But what I mean is proper Stalker is single player. Nobody buys Stalker for the multiplayer. If they do, they've kind of not realised why everybody gets the games. But yeah, but like I said, I know it has it, but it's not something that most people think of at all when they think of Stalker. It's like all the other single-player games that have a tacked-on multiplayer mode that's just a bit naff. Yeah, Be a Battered Fish is good, right, Kevin? Yeah, so, like, again, I don't know in the States where you could get good fish and chips, because like I said, even in the UK, it's one of those things, it will depend completely on the fish and chips restaurant. But in the UK, there's one called Ches Fred's, if you're ever in Bournemouth sort of area, that's really fucking good. It's like, you know, a world famous one. But yeah, so if you can have that, you can have fish and chips. This is what I'm saying. So, you know, not a problem. But like I said, but sadly, it's one of those things near me. Like I said, I don't think there's any proper fish and chip restaurants. There's places that do fish and chips as just part of their menu, but they don't specialize in it. So it's just quite mediocre. Again, I'm sort of similar. There's stuff that I can eat, but some days of the week it might upset my stomach. Other days it might not. So there's food that sometimes I don't eat to be safe, even though it's hit and miss whether or not it will give me issues. Yeah, fish and chips, though, is a bit of a different thing, though, isn't it, Wasp Freak? Because, again, it's like, there's lots of restaurants here that do various fish dishes, but it's not fish and chips. Fish and chips is like its unique style of thing. Overseas neighbours, yeah, not very far away. Brussels was quite nice when I went to Brussels. It was last year, wasn't it? Before I went to Germany. Yeah. So yeah, Belgium's all right, but I've only ever been to Brussels. We're very close as well to Waterloo. I think we drove past Waterloo, but it wasn't even to have a look at Waterloo. It was just because, oh, there it is on the map. I know what Waterloo is. Okay, Rajiv. I know in the air fryer fish and chips comes out all right, so I might have to try those. So if you're in the States, avoid Long John Silvers. I call it Long John Shitters because I was on the shitter for a long time. Okay, Long John Shitters. Yeah, you shit your Long Johns. I suppose, yeah. Also, yeah, Long Johns are clothes, aren't they? Long Johns are like undergarments kind of things. So yeah, they will make you shit your Long Johns then. There you go. Long John Shitters. Yar crusty jugglers. So Dev says kebab as wood. I don't understand Europe's grill culture. We had meat pies in all cities, but now they're almost gone. Weirdly, we don't have that many kebab shops in the UK. Like normally in each major city, there's normally one, but kebab is kind of like a thing a lot of people buy, but there's not that many, at least near around me. What was that for? If you feel bored, lol. Maybe there was another comment that didn't show up. Millions of Turkish barbers. Yeah. Again, in my area now, yes. Several Turkish barbers. I'm going to look on the map and count them for you. So I'm going to go to the nearest local village that's actually becoming a town now. Because it's actually, you know, one that the like local parish council or whatever. Oh, it's actually on the BBC. One of England's largest villages becomes a town. All about Kidlington. But yeah, so if I go to Kidlington on Google Maps, let's look up how many Turkish barbers there are. And I don't know if we've got any American sweet shops there yet. Right, so I'm going to put in barber while I'm over Kidlington. Right, let's look up the ones. So there's several come up. Let's look up the ones that are blatantly, not that I can say that on here, money laundering operations. There's two barbers next door to each other, which I have no fucking clue why you would do. Because people are going to go to one, aren't they, or the other. I'm just going to look at Street View and see what they look like from the street, these ones. One of them used to be a blinds showroom, but now it's a barber's. So that's interesting, isn't it? That there was one that is only literally just become a barber's, even though it used to be a funeral director's. Okay. So there's a barber shop there. I don't have Kidlington barbers. Can't say if they're legit or not because hard to tell. Right, there's two barbers in the same building further down. So let's have a look at these. This is going to be like the Leering centres, isn't it? BBK barbers. I don't know, again, if they're legit or not, but why is there two barbers in the same fucking building? Although saying that, looking at this one, I think it's a case that they've renamed themselves. So I don't think it's a Leering centre. Right. Jack's Barbershop, Jak's Barbershop. Let's have a look at this one. Again, can't really tell how old that one is. looking at it. But when we get into the middle of Kidlington, we have Empire Barber next to Central Hair and Barber, which is, again, I don't know if it's legit or not, but it's just another barber shop in that area. Although they've not got a Turkish style name on their one, so again, it's not even anything against the Turks, because I don't think this has anything to do with Turks. But right now, there's Barnett's Barbers, which looks very sus. Again, maybe it's fine, but looks very kind of like it's turned up a minute ago. There's Old Town Barbers Kidlington. They all have exactly 4.9 star reviews of about 300 reviews as well. So there's that Barbers. Is there any more barbers in the area? I think that's all of them. But like I said, I can't tell you if they're legit or not. I just find the amount of barbers that just popped up overnight there quite you know, I cut my own hair, like I said before. I just shave it off with clippers. So I don't see a barber anymore. And when I used to see a barber, it was a Polish lady, hairdresser barber. You know, and she did my hair for years. So oh, wait till you get older, Epic Thanos. You will be bold eventually. You will be. So yeah, all right, exclude zone. So yeah, there's loads of barbers where I am. And like I said, I don't know if they're legit. Is there any, let me search sweet shops, because the other one in the UK is sweet shops, American candy stores, whatever they call them. Right. But there's not really any weird sweet shops in Kidlington as far as I'm aware. Creamery Corner. Oh, okay. So there's an ice cream bar that also has exactly 4.9 stars. That's quite new. And that is newer than the fucking Google Street View of the thing. Oh, they're saying that the Google Street View is from 2008, so most things there would be newer. But yeah, again, some of these places might be completely fucking legit. And yeah, it's just, you know, in the UK, Turkish barbers, weird foreign candy stores, and sometimes like Thai nails and things like that are all the ones for money laundering. Because you'd think if you were going to launder money, you wouldn't pick the one where everybody knows what it is. But again, the dodgy as fuck thing is, in the UK, because it's fucking tax stuff, because these places pay the taxmen because they're money laundering operations, generally the government doesn't give a shit. They don't care if it's like organised crime money laundering. It's, oh, well, we get tax money from them, so they're all right. No, one of my friends says there's a Ukrainian woman that does happy endings, but she doesn't go further than that. So he said he prefers the Brazilian ones. And I think he said with Thai women, they often get a picture of like their 20-year-old daughter, and they're actually like 50 years old. So he felt a bit cheated by some of them on the profile pictures. I'm getting into very dodgy territory for YouTube now, but one of my mates is a fucking dirty bastard. He's a trucker as well. So he is very much the one that he's like kind of the like Google reviews for the local women of the night, shall we say. And he's one of those people that I think blows like his very high paycheck compared to most people I know, mostly on that kind of stuff. So, you know. Yeah, again, but apparently he treats women absolutely fine, Kevin. This is the thing. He's like the sort of person that doesn't want a girlfriend because he's like, oh, they use up all your money and whatever. But he's the sort of person that like doesn't ever kill those type of women. But yeah, so it's just one of those. People said lot lizard. Is that the typical term for it? We don't really have that over here. I don't think it's a term. Lot lizard is a usually degeneratory slang term for prostitutes or sex workers who socially truck drivers. Okay, yeah, so yeah, but the ones he goes off are the higher class ones where you have to get them on like an app, which I'm surprised is allowed to run in the UK, but I suppose that's why they call them escorts, don't they? And yeah, I think sometimes he spends over £1,000 in one go for the top end ones, or a couple of top end ones at once. But that's his money and it's his to spend, and he's not hurting anybody. For some women, that's a good way of them making money. World's oldest profession. I think personally, all this stuff should be legalized. Depends. If you get married, they can get a divorce and then they can take half your money. Have you ever heard the dark German joke that getting married is like a grenade? Once the ring come off, your house is gone. That's quite a good one. And that's actually for a German joke. It's quite funny. But yeah, I think because some people, if they've had enough people in their family that have ended up having messy divorces, they just don't want anything to do with it. Does the Green Party want to legalize? See, because that and legalizing drugs, I think, is a good policy from the Green Party. Because again, alcohol is more harmful than lots of illegal drugs. And a lot of illegal drugs are only harmful because you don't know what's fucking mixed it with them. And, the type of people you might be financing if you're buying them. Whereas if this stuff was legal and quality checked and everything else. Yeah. I'll tell you a date, your monolith. All hail the monolith. Oh, monolith. Yeah, again, I know. So the Green Party have two sensible things, and then they've got complete open borders. Let's sing Kumbaya to terrorists. What could possibly go wrong? All the LGBTQ and radical Islam will just get along side by side absolutely fine, despite the fact they won't. So guy with a long name says, I'm thinking of going to the UK around summer to visit either Exeter or the Beamish Museum. Anything I know or be aware of as a Yank? Let me see where those museums are. Because I know where Exeter is, but is the Exeter Museum a different thing? So the Living Museum of the North, Beamish. Okay. As an American, no, just be polite to people. Find out with places if they take card or cash. As long as you're not in any really shitty tier city, you don't have to worry too much. And again, you speak the language, don't you? Even if American English and English is a bit different. But again, American tourists never bother anybody really. There's kind of memes about American tourists, but it's again one of the things is they so the Exeter Museum, where's that one? Oh, it is actually in Exeter, is it? The Exeter Museum, if it's the Royal Albert one. But yeah, one of my aunts used to live in Exeter before she died. In Devon. A lot of my family is from Devon. Yeah, again, Birmingham, London, bits of London are all right, but yeah. Maybe put your phone on a lanyard just in case. So if you can attach a lanyard to your phone so you can keep it properly secured to your belt or whatever, maybe do that. Just because the phone thieves are very quick. Best places for cultural enrichment. Maybe Birmingham. Bradford's a very good one for cultural enrichment. Luton. I'm going to get you a picture of the Luton skyline up. Let me get the famous image of Luton up. If I can find it. Because there's a picture that's so dystopian of Luton, it's great. I'm just going to search Luton Mosque. But where's the famous one I want to get the picture of? Okay, I can't find it at the moment, but there used to be a picture from Luton of a woman in all the whatever gear they call it. I can't remember if it's a burqa or one of the others. And they were Yeah, and then they were walking in front of like a razor wire fence with loads of trash everywhere, and there was a mosque in the background. And again, so I don't even have a problem with Muslims or whatever, but like saying that just doesn't look very English, does it? That's the thing. And yeah, as Caleb says, yeah, exactly. In Manchester or any other cities, yeah. When I was in Leeds, I never even needed it, thankfully, but I had a security chain on my thing, where you can clip it to your belt, or like a button on a coat or whatever, and then your phone, because again, you can't see it, and I can't even show you because I can hold my phone like this, and maybe you'll realize I'm doing it. But if I just aim at the ceiling, can you see that I'm holding my if I do that and then hook my thumb, actually I might be able to unfold it enough that you can see it. Yeah, I've got glued onto the back of my case. It is magnetic anyway, but the magnet obviously isn't strong enough. I've glued onto the back of my case one of those things that lets you attach like lanyards or use it as like a kickstand. So I've basically got one of those proper like wallet chain ones that is made from stainless steel, so you can clip it onto say a belt loop bit on your trousers or something else, and then your phone has like that much range on it, with this cable, but nobody could just rip the phone out your hands. They'd have to try and fiddle with a little clasp to get rid of it. Yeah, I don't think it was a niqab. It might have even been a full burqa, Khalid. It wasn't just like the little hair one, because like I was saying, that's the thing. It wasn't one of those sort of culturally ones you think, oh, that person's quite culturally assimilated. It was one of the proper ones where you're like, if you put a funny coloured filter on there, you might say, oh, this is a picture from not Mogadishu, but oh well, we were on about that, JP, because according to Starmer, this is a tool of hate, a tool of hate, a tool of hate. Again, when people say Starmer sounds like a Dalek. I can't unhear that now either. You will be exterminated. I am a tool maker. But yeah, yeah, I've got a video coming out on this tomorrow. But yeah, a leaked government thing says that the English, Scottish, and Union Jack are tools of hate. They didn't mention the Welsh one because somebody asked that, and I looked it up. No mention of the Welsh flag. So you can beat people up with the Welsh flag and your romper stomper outfit, and apparently nobody minds. But as soon as you get an English flag anywhere, whoops, you're oppressing everyone. Okay, are they actually the same or different though? Or so why do they have different names, or is it a cultural thing? Yeah, well, my phone as well, Kevin, specifically with my phone, because I've got one of those Chinese brick phones, the ones that, like have the Gorilla Glass and everything else. My phone, I would not want to get hit by this phone, because it's very kinky, or your farts just that bad gas mask, yeah. But yeah, so I imagine Arabic is a tricky language. Again, I don't speak Arabic. Again, the only Arabic kind of words I know are the ones used in June, or like the Fadakin, the Fadayin, or whatever it is. Obviously jihad, everyone knows jihad, but just kinds of those funny things like where Frank Herbert's like, oh, let's put this random Arabic word in for my Mujahideen. I think I actually quite like the sound of Arabic. I'm not going to lie. Because people on here think I'm just going to be like, oh, I absolutely hate all foreign cultures. I don't. But again, it's the different thing, isn't it? Of if people integrate or not. I get you. Yeah, that's a good explanation. Yeah, like ghost, spectre, all those sort of things. Truck, lorry. Yeah. Again, there are some languages I think that sound nice, even if I don't personally speak them. I mean, and then it depends, because some of the people that don't integrate over here don't necessarily speak Arabic. They might speak Urdu or whatever else. JC Pancake. So again, it's not even a case of it being Arabic, because again, the problem is that people keep thinking like all Muslims are of one exact thing, and they're not. Like, all Christians aren't the same, lots of Catholics and Protestant denominations hate each other. No, I have not tried Mandarin yet. Maybe Mandarin is the one I should learn. Yeah, as Khalid says, Urdu, not yeah. If you're being racist, be racist properly, please. But yeah, it's what do you call it? I knew a girl that found it kind of creepy but interesting when she was over. But normally, I don't think they care too much. I think it's more if you come across as some sort of artsy person because of them, they probably think it's cool. But yeah, like I said, Mandarin might be the one you have to learn. But when like the Frankie Boyle joke of whatever year, the year blacks and whites live side by side in Chinese concentration camps. You know, when Frankie Boyle used to be funny. But again, I think it depends where you're from in the world with what languages you can pick up easier. Because if you natively speak whatever language, and then there's a similar language that isn't too different. Yeah, exactly. Because this is the thing. Like I said, part of the problem, I think, Caleb, is where people don't want to integrate, you know, or you kind of get the ghettoization. So people then, it becomes very othery. Do you get what I mean? Where, again, it's like, I personally don't mind anybody as long as they all, you know, all kind of go through the same thing. But again, that's what my mate was saying. Like in an area he lives, he's saying like, I'm in a very multicultural area, but you know, everybody lives down the same roads and goes to the same shops. So you're not really put off by it. But it's not like where you're from one of those areas where barely anyone is speaking English. They're living in their own kind of little enclave, you know, like a Chinatowny kind of thing or sort of thing, or like you're saying, or any of those areas where you've got maybe a big either Hindu or Muslim population that sort of keeps to themselves. Again, I'm not having to go at any particular group here. I'm just sort of trying to say, I think when people actually come across as human and get along as each other, you know, it's fine. The problem is, like you said, and I think a lot of our politicians make this worse, is where they kind of try and treat everybody as a block that will all vote and think in the same way. Aren't Finnish and Estonian fairly similar? Who would ever want to leave America? There are a lot of Americans that apparently fled to Canada because they were so scared of the Orange Man. Interesting, yeah. Like I said, I've had friends as well that didn't speak English as a first language, but, you know, if they were out and about, they'd always speak English, so they didn't seem suspicious to other people. Then they'd speak their native tongue when they were at home. And then sometimes I'd be sat at the dinner table and it would be a conversation. I had no clue what was going on. And they went, oh, don't worry, it's like family stuff. And then they just start talking to me in English again. But yeah, no, I did. Sadly, I don't think they do, Kevin, because I actually asked an Irish guy I used to work with about that. And he was saying, yeah, it's a really sad thing that it's nearly died out even in lots of Ireland because, you know, kids don't want to learn it anymore. And again, that is a real shame when you get languages that die like that, because again, it's like, I can understand why everybody wants to learn English because it's a language nearly everyone speaks, but it's a shame if actual languages die out completely. And again, like, you know, where people don't really have any cultural heritage anymore because all of their sort of culture's been erased in terms of like Americanisms or Westernisms. But yeah, the crazy liberals, I saw this woman who was crying. She's like, oh, they're kicking me out of Canada and it's so expensive. And she thought she would become a legit refugee as well. So like, you know, she could go to Canada and say like, oh, I'm fleeing a war because I disagree with Trump's politics. They were like, oh, no, you need to go back. Like, you know, a visa overran. And then she was like worried about like, oh, why can't I just stay in Canada forever? Because you're not a fucking Canadian citizen, are you? And again, like if somebody fled to the UK and said, evil Orange Man is oppressing us, we wouldn't let them in. Yeah, again, Caleb, that's what I like. Like I said, because again, the problem I have is, again, there was like, I was watching this thing earlier where there was this Muslim bloke talking to, I think it was the Daily Telegraph, and he was saying how he was like an anti-extremism advisor, but Labour don't want to listen to him anymore because even though he's a Muslim, they say he's being Islamophobic or whatever. Because some white people are going like, oh, actually, we know more about Islam than you, so why don't you shut up and like do what we want, you know, vote in the way we want you to vote or whatever. And it's like, again, no, and again, I think with immigration, everything else, it's as long as the numbers are at, you know, numbers where people don't feel too alienated, it doesn't matter. And again, I don't know what those numbers would be. I am not a smart person in that regard. But I just hate the fact that people keep being censored from having legit complaints, and then therefore people get more and more extreme opinions because they're not allowed to talk about things rationally. And the whole thing of like, oh, you can't have your own flag in your own country because you're some right-wing thug that's going to beat people up, you know. It's like they think I'm going to put Doc Martens on, you know, and shave my head again properly, and then, you know, go around just doing a bit of P-word bashing for a bit of fun. It's like, no, it's just, this is the flag of my country. And also, it's like, there was in the Asmongold point he was making very clearly on a video earlier that Keir Starmer is very keen on having the Union Jack and the St. George's flag when it's being used by the army to attack other people, that your own citizens aren't allowed to have that cultural identity. And again, but nobody wants the criminals, do they? Because I think if you were in like personally, right, and I think this goes to any sane person, if there was a white guy down my road that was raping kids, I would want that person, I'd actually want him killed, but, you know, I'd want him to go to prison for a very long time. And I think most normal people from any religion or whatever, if you knew there was somebody down your road doing something like that, you would want them to get fucking hammered by the law. But you've got this kind of like weird thing where like some of the politicians are like, oh, we can't look into this if it's going on in a certain community because we might lose their votes. And it's like, no, that's a bit disgusting saying like every Muslim person's a paedophile, you know, whatever else it is. Because it's like, I think most rational people from every religion don't want fucking wrong-uns, you know, interacting with them or their kids. Like I said, one of my mates got a nonce sent away. Sadly, he didn't really get sent away because, you know, how the system is now. They were like, well, you're going on the sex offenders register for a bit and don't get caught again, basically. Over the top World War One. Let me have a look. Okay, I will wishlist that, and then after payday, if it's the sort of game, it's very positive at least. Although if it's a big multiplayer game, I might not might not be that interested. But at least the player count is going up. It's not one going down, so that's a good sign. Yeah, the online history of it shows more people on than. Oh, so you can. It's got destructible physics like Oh, cool. So like it's got all like terraforming and the vehicles all collapse Bad Company style. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I've added it to my wish list, and after payday again, I'll consider it for one of the things. Ah, cool. Both single and multi. Again, with the British Empire, again, like it depends, because with like the US War of Independence, part of the problem with that was because Britain had so many colonies at the time, Britain decided America wasn't that worthwhile, which was actually a really fucking dumb mistake. But it wasn't one where they sent out all as many troops in, because that's why America couldn't win the War of 1812, and it basically ended up as a stalemate, because at that point Britain had reinforced Canada a lot more. But yeah, generally it's considered World War One is about the time most of the big empires died, like all the European empires killed each other, and that's where you see after World War One the US really becoming the superpower, if that's what you're on about. And again, the British Navy, I think, was bigger than the US Navy at the start of World War II, but the US Navy easily overtook it partway through the war. But yeah, like, yeah, saying Doc Martens is a bit expensive for me. I know a lot of people that like him. Again, I kind of like the skinhead romper stomper look, but I don't like what it's associated with. Because the funny thing is, I do like bomber jackets and like jeans and shaving my head and that. But I don't like being racist to people. You know, I like the dark sense of humor, which is apparently really racist and bad. Yeah, some countries, some it didn't. Again, it's the thing of the British Empire is, I think you need to look at it in a way that is balanced historically and by a country basis. But for example, prior to overtaking Hong Kong, obviously, we had the Opium War, which was, again, really fucking horrible. We on purposely hooked the Chinese on opium to make it easier to conquer them and like subjugate them. So again, the British Empire, like I said, It's like if you look at what the Belgians did in the Congo, it's basically chopping black people's hands off because they're not working hard enough, and then we'll chop the hands off people who are working, but lol, will claim it was the people that weren't working. Well, not racist, I just like them, or just don't like them. Yeah, Kevin. But yeah, oh yeah, not racist, I just like my Doc Martens or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, again, like British Empire, like I said, it's very mixed bag, and I think really you have to look at history that way. You look at everything somebody did and come to a conclusion on it. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? That, like I said, because again, with a lot of historical empires, it's like that. Sometimes with empires that lasted a couple of centuries, they're really good for part of it and then really bad for another part of it. But in general, I want most countries to have their own governments ruled by their own people, where they can make their own decisions and not be fucked with by foreign powers. I think that would be nice, but we don't live in an ideal world, do we? Again, it's like where we were on about Ukraine and that earlier. It's like the Ukrainians want their own identity and to live in their own way. And it's like I was saying with Iran. I want an Iran where the Iranian people get to make their own choices of who they trade with and everything else. I don't like the Ayatollahs, because they've murdered lots of other Iranians and lots of other Muslims in other countries. Because, again, it's like with Iran, it's like I was saying, every Iranian person I've met that was somebody who fled from the Islamic Republic have been really nice people. But the problem is they can't stay in their own country because they have opinions that would make them political dissidents or whatever. Yeah, the boots I used to really like I said before, I think were either Austrian or German army boots, and they were just really well-made leather boots. The current ones I wear are like steel toe cap kind of building site work boots. And they're good because they're trainery enough that you can wear them for long periods without them being like too boot-like. But they're still a lot tougher and more water resistant and things like that than normal trainers or like, smart shoes would be. Oh, I did see the thing where he was coughing for like a minute and a half and they put the wrong take in the thing. So somebody's getting defenestrated, thrown out a window for that. Tan on the inside, yeah. Let me get a picture up of them. Because KAZ03 combat boots, is it those? Yeah, KAZ03 boots. Again, I can't really link to Commando Store or any other places selling them. But yeah, it seems the proper name of them is KAZ03 boots. And then, again, I bought a second pair of those because my first ones lasted me like 10 to 15 years, and that was secondhand boots. And that was nearly daily wear boot. And I'll just get the pictures up for the people who want to know what kind of boots I'm on about. It's these things, if the URL isn't so long that YouTube doesn't disallow it. Yeah, those sort of things. Yeah, again, like I said, sometimes you can not spend that much on boots and still get good ones. But like I said, yeah, those Austrian boots are genuinely fucking good. As in, like, the first pair I had lasted way longer than much more expensive boots I bought. I'd have some expensive boots that would wear badly after a year. What the current Iranian constitution is that? Yeah, again, like the whole thing is like I was saying to people in one of my videos, like, Shia and Sunni Islam and all the other things are different, aren't they? And that's the thing where people are, oh no, you don't know that, you're a white man sort of thing. But it's like, well, yeah, but I can know that like lots of other Muslim countries don't like Iran because Iran constantly fucks with them. Because again, isn't it like with Shia, and again, like I don't want to be mean to people who are Shia or whatever else because I don't really know enough about it, but isn't it like the Ayatollah is like their Pope? And I thought there was the thing I was watching the other day where it's something like the Shias think that there's like some dead 12-year-old boy from like 1500 years ago or something, or 500 years ago. And that is actually the real leader of Iran, but the Ayatollah speaks to the dead child or something, or the child that went missing. And therefore the Ayatollah takes orders from them or some shit like that. I don't know. again, because like I said, I've had relatives. Like I said, I'm very mildly Christian, and I've had relatives that were way more extreme Christian, and I didn't like them because they were the same kind of, you know, bullshit radical thing you get with any religion when it goes too far, of hating literally everybody that wasn't their exact sect and way they wanted to live their life and all that. And it's like, what was funny is like my uncle, like it was, I think it was my great uncle that was the one that was like a really fucking over the top Christian. He would complain about all the things and complaining about Muslims, even though I was like, you literally sound no different than a radical Islam, you know, like Muslim guy, even if you know, like an Islamist, even if he was like, you know, going on about Jesus, not Muhammad or whatever. It was like, it's like, this is the exact same thing. You want to kill people because they're not the exact thing, and you want people to submit to it. And it's like, you know, everybody else is like stupid, and you're the smart people because you follow the right guidance. It's all the fucking same thing. Well, they are technically Christian, again, but are they Christians of how Jesus wanted people to live? Probably not, but they call themselves Christians, you know. And again, it's like with all these religions, you can't really say if somebody's officially not. It's the no true Scotsman thing, isn't it? Okay, so Wahhabi is Orthodox, Shia is Catholic, and Sufi is good to know. Like I said, I always like chatting with people about these because you learn stuff. But that's like I said, but that's why I think it's always worth. You grew up in Salafi, which is a segregated ultra-Orthodox, which is banned in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, and then this is an interesting thing, right? You're saying that because apparently a lot of countries like Saudi have said to the UK, "What the hell is going on with all the extremism in your country?" And again, I saw somebody, I can't remember what country they said they were from, and this was like in some sort of Reddit thread that got screen capped. But they were from, I think it was one of the stands. I don't think it was Kazakhstan, but it might have been Tajikistan or one of the stands. And they said, you know, they came to uni in Britain and they went to a mosque. And they were worried that some of the people in their mosque were really radical and they didn't know who to report it to. And then people going like, shut up and stop being Islamophobic in the comments. It's like, oh, so here's a Muslim person that's probably been a Muslim for his whole life. And then some other random white Karen is like, oh, shut up and stop being stop being Islamophobic. Like, you don't know anything about their religion. It's like, well, no, he's come to this country and he's like, why are there so many fucking extreme people here that the government doesn't want to deal with? Yeah, I know. Again, I don't want this to turn into a big religious argument in this thing, but like I said, I don't want to say who is a real Jew or a Muslim or Christian or whatever. I don't want to play that game. But what I'm saying is with every religion, you get nice people in it and you get shit people in it because of how they interpret the religion. And I suppose that's the thing, it's interpretation, isn't it? Because the problem is, I bet you could find something that isn't even a religious book and find different ways to interpret it. And then, like, you know, some people would make good value judgments off of it and some would make bad ones. But, you know, like I said, it's just one of those things where, you know, like I said, that's why I like treating people as people until they give you a reason not to be nice to them. Because, you know, to me, it's not really what religion somebody is or what color they are or whatever else. It's, are they a decent human being or are they a cunt? And a lot of people are somewhere in between. But yeah, oil and gas crisis, yes, 2-day warning. And yeah, because Britain doesn't fucking drill the North Sea much anymore. High speed velocity of an unladen swallow. Oh, bit of Monty Python there. Holy Grail, isn't it? Yeah, Holy Grail. I was showing, because I was showing the guy who used to work with Andy a bit of Half Sword earlier. I was showing him fucking chopping people's arms off in that, and I was doing, stupid bastard, you got no arms left. Oh, inappropriate comment, view message. Oh, YouTube isn't letting me view it. Oh well. Can we talk about roaches and beetles? Well, I watch Asmongold, who's the roach king, who has roaches sometimes crawl across him, and he does that, puts them away. But that's all I know. Oh, roaches can survive really high levels of radiation. I know that as well, like ants and wasps, because of course fucking wasps could survive levels of radiation that would kill you and me. So even after a nuclear war, you'd have to put up with fucking wasps. Exactly, classified official, but because, right, if it is a proper one that is like, you know, not a modern replica of a musket, as far as I understand, but again, I can't pick it up and show you, even though I've got one right over there because of stupid YouTube policies, Khaled. But then no, it's a section, is it 58? Section 58 obsolete caliber. Yeah, section 58. So it's what's called an obsolete caliber. And as far as I'm aware, you're not allowed to load and shoot it on your property or whatever, but you could do it at a gun club if they had the powder and everything else. But you can have it, and you don't even need to keep it in a locked safe or whatever, like potentially an air rifle or a shotgun. A musket you can just have like hanging on your wall, even if you could just take it down and immediately load black powder into it and shoot it. But as it stands, but yeah, they don't need to be deactivated. So it can be fully functional and you can own it, no problems. Like I said, the law is just in a very grey area about how much black powder you can own without a gun license and where you can and can't shoot it. That's when it might become a section 1 or 2. But again, a lot of the law isn't even that clear on that. Like, because people have linked me to different articles saying different things. So you could have a fully functional musket at home that would completely work. Let's say if you took it to a range and somebody gave you lead balls and black powder, that is completely fine. It's just whether or not you're allowed a certain quantity of black powder with the intention of shooting it is where it gets really vague, which is why, for my sake, I don't bother keeping any black powder at home, because it's one of those things where even though I can buy certain quantities without a license, I don't know if the police ever came knocking, they'd then go, oh, look, we knew you're imminently going to do something from it. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah, the old Battlefronts. Yes, I was on about those. Were you in the stream earlier when I was talking about TIE Fighter? Because there's a really fucking good fan version of TIE Fighter now, a total conversion mod for a different Star Wars game. And it's like a 1-to-1 conversion of TIE Fighter, but with really nice graphics. And it's fucking amazing. Right, okay. So, it is... so there's a Star Wars game called X-Wing Alliance. That's the mod game. So there's a total conversion like graphics mod for X-Wing Alliance. And then the TIE Fighter thing is a total conversion for that. Oh, Kashyyyk. Yeah, but yes, Battlefront 1 and 2, the old ones, are really good. And we were saying earlier in the thing, EA cancelling Battlefront 3 is a crime against humanity. But yes, I am going to link, because I am going to be off in a minute, because I do need to go to the toilet, and I've been on an hour and a half. I will link people to this total conversion thing I was on about. TIE Fighter, is it 1.4? Yeah, so here is the release trailer for it. And I'm just going to post that in the chat now, wherever the chat window is. There you go. So this is, like I said, the TIE Fighter thing. That, like I said, it's literally a graphics thing. You can see in this where they flick between the old graphics and new graphics of how the game used to look back in 1990 whatever, and how this mod looks. And it is fucking amazing. I've got a joystick coming tomorrow because I don't know where my Logitech Attack 3 is. And because of how good this mod is like, I need a joystick and I need to play TIE Fighter right fucking now. But it doesn't play that well on a controller like this. So it's one of those things where I was like, yeah, I really, really want to play this. I just need something better than doing it with, you know, either a mouse or a gamepad. Ah, that's actually kind of interesting. But is that the one Free Radical had got to the point of making before EA shut it down? Because again, the fact the Time Splitters devs were making a Battlefront game and EA cancelled it last minute, like I said, crime against humanity. Oh, which NBC suit did you choose in the end? And I am going off in a minute, so. You should probably get water and get off your phone to avoid dehydration and passing out. What I do is I've got this like nearly 2-litre bottle of water that I can just have on my desk and refill. So that's like a day's worth of water in there. If I don't drink any coffee or milk or whatever else, or fruit juice, that, in theory, if I fill it up with fresh water in the morning, that's about what a human's meant to have per day, that amount in the bottle. No, it's just boring water. It's not even alcohol or anything fun. It's just boring water. This one isn't see-through, but it is just right. I don't want to hang on. I don't know if you're actually going to be able to see into that with the. See, it's just boring water in there. Looks a bit blue because of the colour of the thing, but that's just water. Like I said, yeah, you could in theory fill that up with whatever you wanted, but no, I've just got boring water in there. That's my boring water jug, bottle of water. Yeah, exactly. Moonshine. Wish I did have that much moonshine in like a flagon jug, but no, it's water. Anyway, I will be off now. So thanks for coming on, everyone. It was an interesting chat tonight because we discussed a bit about various religions and whatever without it turning into a fucking dumpster fire, which is actually amazing. Because normally when that sort of thing comes up, it's where people just argue about how much they hate each other's, like, you know, beliefs and whatever. And a massive thank you to the guy that gifted 20 subs, however that works. Because like I said, I don't know how that works, but from what I understand, it does give me a bit of money because I think it's essentially like a donation. It's just does it in the form of giving people subs. Rage stream. It's hard to do it gradually, Wasp, because it comes on a bit fast if I've got something to drink. But yeah, there was a stream I took down the other week where the Iran war first started, and I was having celebratory drinks of Khomeini being killed, where I was quite a few deep by the time I started. Yeah, sometimes I delete those afterwards if I think they're a bit too embarrassing or whatever, or because I let people say stuff in the chat, which if I was sober, I'd probably be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have let them say that. But yeah. But you know, the problem is if you get drunk like that, it's horrible the next day. You get a fucking hangover or whatever, especially as you just start getting older. So, like I said, alcohol is one of those things that I have to be very careful when I have it and make sure I'm in the right frame of mind and everything. Otherwise, it can get dark very quickly. So, anyway, you have a good day, everybody. And again, massive thank you to the guy that gifted all those donations or however it worked, did the subs. So anyway, don't forget to like the stream before you go off if you haven't liked the stream yet, because that does help share the videos a bit more and all that. And I've already got a video for tomorrow. Like I said, it's about the tools of hate with the English flag, just talking a bit about that, like I was mentioning in the stream. Tools of hate. And then yeah, there's just some other shorts and other videos I've got planned coming out each day after that. Yeah, have a good evening, everybody. See you all later. Right, bye.